All right. No, I'm actually drinking coffee. So, yeah, in my cinema mug.
Nice. Hello, world, and welcome to South of Hollywood. Thank you for joining me. Today, I have a yes, right? Air horns. Yay. Today, I have a very special guest, Cookie Hughes, amazing filmmaker extraordinaire. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from?
My name is Cookie Hughes, and I was born at a very early age. And I am from Chicago. I am a filmmaker, and I'm also a mom. I have two great kids, and I work as a full time artist, creating stuff that I like.
Mhm. Yes, and I became introduced to you through my film festival a couple of years ago.
Yes, I
Even
remember.
though I couldn't get you to get involved, but I still saw your films and stuff, and I always thought that was like so awesome that someone in Chicago was making independent feature length films. There's a lot of shorts, a lot of short filmmakers, but for someone to like bite the bullet and make features, I always thought that was really impressive.
Thank you.
So yeah. And so you have like a horror slant too. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, I sent you
Yeah.
a sizzle on what I'm currently working on. Yeah, so actually, I delve in a lot of types of genre, but I'm in the process of developing a VR device that allows its audience to be immersed into a movie while sitting on some haptic seat cushions.
Mm,
But it was it's been extremely daunting
mhm,
to put everything together because it's technology and it's combining that with creativity, and I'm not an engineer or anything, so just putting together the resources to make that happen was just becoming a bit frustrating, because what I wanted to do was to make this horror anthology to be the project that would launch the device. But
wow.
um, like I say, it's been daunting trying to get everything together with the device. So I decided to just go on ahead and make the film. And
Mhm,
so I'm making a film called Urban Horror Tales, and it's an anthology of social horror, sort of kind of similar to Tales from the Hood,
mhm, mhm.
Get Out. It'll be a film that's dealing with the issues and the nuances that are prevalent in the Black community, urban community, and just sort of kind of having like a twist to it, because it is horror, but it's also enlightening because it's dealing with social issues and stuff. So
Wow, that's awesome. It reminds me of this French film, La Sanguille. I think it's about these black women that are vampires. Have you
ooh,
ever heard of that one?
no, but I
I'll
need to
have to
check it
send it to
out.
you.
Yes,
Yeah, it's
please
like
do that.
from the 70s or 80s or something. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But I
So yeah,
think yeah. Go
so yeah,
ahead.
that's what I'm currently working on. But I also work in my main genre is dark comedy. I sort of kind of like that a lot, and I've done that with my films in the past. So yeah.
Wow, that's awesome. So we're gonna come back to talking about your films and your career journey. But let's get started with this episode. So first up is our coming attractions. So I'm wondering, Cookie, like yeah, what's a woman like you? What kind of film, TV, movies, or podcasts? What do you watch? What are you listening to?
Well, I am a huge fan of true crime, and so and I'm very much I'm a huge fan of true crime, but I'm also a huge fan of anything Black woman.
Mhm.
If it's a Black woman and she's like the lead, or the storyline is centered around her, I'm watching it. And if it's about true crime and a Black woman, I'm definitely watching it.
Oh, nice.
Right now, I'm currently though watching uh, Bryan Cranston, who was the lead character on Breaking Bad, because that's
Mm-hmm.
my all-time favorite TV show. He's in a new show. They're in their second season. It's called Your Honor. It's
Oh
on
yeah.
Showtime. I just love very good writing,
Mm-hmm.
especially like I say when it's dealing with drama and true crime.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm watching that. I'm watching Harlem. That's on Amazon Prime.
Yes, I'm watching
Um,
Harlem too.
with
Yes.
those beautiful black women and their
Aren't they so
storyline
beautiful?
and their
All of them.
experience. Yes, I just love that. I'm also watching. Um, I'm watching BMF on Stars,
Mm-hmm.
Black
Mm-hmm.
Mafia Family. I'm watching the series.
Mm-hmm.
Um, oh, I just finished a series called Yellow Jackets.
Yeah, how was that?
That was phenomenal. It was crazy, weird, kind of horrorish too.
Mm-hmm.
I really wish there was more black women in it, but the
Mm-hmm.
fact that women are the lead, I'm always going
Mm-hmm.
to support that. But I was surprised because I had kept seeing it in my suggestion, and I said, let me just watch this. So
Mm-hmm.
um, I had a chance to watch that, so that was
Mm-hmm.
really good. I'm currently, as it relates to podcasts, I love podcasts. Like I listen to Higher Learning with Van Lathan, Tamika Mallory's podcast. I listen to The Read, but I haven't
Yes.
been able to listen to a lot of the podcasts that I listen to because I'm in writer's mode for my horror series. So I've been listening to this. It's based off a TV show, Snap, on
Mm-hmm.
Oxygen,
Mm-hmm.
about women who murder, and it's just like the storylines of these women who who do what they do, and that's sort of kind of like with my horror film. It's going to be mostly centered around women as the lead in these short stories. So I'm just fascinated with those storylines. So I think it's like 500 episodes, and I while you're work, because sometimes you can't sit and watch a TV show, so the podcast
Right.
is playing while I'm working, and so it's just been like it's like 500 episodes. I think I've listened so far to like 100 now.
Say one by one. I'm
Yes,
listening
one by
to every
one.
episode.
Yeah. So,
My dad used to watch the TV show Snapped.
okay.
I remember asking him one time, I was like, why do you watch this show? Because it is a lot of women. It's about a lot of women. And he was always like, I need to know the signs before
I
a
love
woman
it.
snaps and I'm murdered. And I was like, the lesson of Snapped is like, don't piss off women. Because
Yeah.
women murder for like real reasons. They
Yeah.
really murdering you. Like they not just angry. Like
Yeah, but actually, to be honest, the central theme of all these murders is
Mhm.
love,
Yeah.
money, and power.
Mhm.
And I think that's indicative of men who want that as well. But it's
Mhm.
just really because it's odd. Like you don't see women as that because they're considered like the lesser, the weaker of the human species
Mhm.
and the more nurturer. So why would she go and kill all four of her husbands?
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's fascinating. That's really cool. Oh yeah, I love that. I wanted to see Your Honor. I think I watched the first episode. It was like free online or something. And I remember it was very drama filled. There's like a drug dealer that gets murdered or something.
yeah.
But yeah, I didn't have Showtime, girl. So I was like, well, we're just gonna have to catch this.
Yeah. So what you have to do is you have to, of course, have a list of emails and then do the free trial and then just every
Yes,
week.
okay.
Because that's what I did for BET Plus is because I was I'm working on I'm working on a film
Mhm.
and a feature film called Tale of the Old Ladies Who Called a Lick, and it's a comedy, a
Mhm.
dark comedy, and I was looking for just some black female comedians that I would want
Mhm.
to be in it. And so I had been hearing about this woman named Miss Pat,
Yeah, Miss Pat's funny.
And
Yeah.
so I just went down a rabbit hole just learning about her, and I wanted to watch her show. And so I had did like the every 7 days give a new episode.
Yes, the free trial. Yes.
Because all these platforms, that money adds up. I think I paid
It
for like 10 of these things. Like
no,
ridiculous.
it adds up. And I
Yeah.
literally was like, can I claim this on my taxes as like
Thank
a
you.
work expense?
Thank
Because
you. Yes. Yes. Exactly.
because I know I'm about to everybody's getting a pause. They finna get a 6-month pause. I need to
Yeah.
save a little coin. Like I
Yeah.
can't. Like
Yeah. So yeah. So
that's hilarious. That's awesome. Yeah. So those are some good shows. I know BMF, the same thing where I like saw like a early on episode, but I haven't followed it. But I know it's a really good show. Everybody's like really like it. Is that 50 Cent also? Is the producer?
yeah, and it's based on I think a true story of some drug dealers, brothers who
Mm-hmm.
built a whole conglomerate, but they did it around the music industry too.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was pretty interesting. I always felt like back in the day watching like The Godfather and stuff, I was always like, oh, Black people could do this. Like we
Yes.
could definitely be this character.
Man, I am working on a pitch deck about their housing projects here in Chicago and about a drug family, but it's centered around women. It's called the Rockwells. Their last name is Rockwell, and they lived in this housing project called Rockwell Gardens on the west side. But they were before they decided to tear down all the projects, they were essentially in cahoots with the politicians, just getting money in different illegal ways, including drugs and stuff. But it was women, and it's a family, and she has daughters because her husband went to prison, and so she had to run the business. And so, and it's a period piece. It's set in the 80s. So,
oh, I love it. Ooh, yeah. I love it already. I see it. This is a good time for that. Yes, girl.
So that is one of my projects that I'm working on to pitch. So yeah.
Ooh, that's awesome. Ooh, okay. Work on that. Let that sizzle. Yes.
I received that. Thank you.
Okay, well, let's talk about, some, I call this the tea time, what's been something that you're, thinking about or a little bit more critical of, I don't know, given, your experiences in Chicago, what's been some of the challenges to filmmaking? What are you thinking about as like, stuff that you are a little bit more critical of from the industry?
Well, definitely here in Chicago, I really hate the lack of diversity on these professional projects that are shot here. It is, Chicago is notorious for being very unionized and, being very political. And it's a lot of nepotism that goes on. And so I just cannot stand that every time you see a production going on here in Chicago, I'm talking about the studio ones.
Yeah.
All the crew is predominantly white and men, and security is Black people. That's all we are. We be wearing those olive green suits, and we're just the security, but we're not like just part of the grips and the and the electric.
Yeah, even being PAs.
Yes, it's just, and I hate that with a passion. And I remember this has been going on for quite some time because I've been making movies for a long time here in Chicago, and I remember when a group of Black creatives made a complaint back in the late 90s about this, and the Directors Guild, because they were going at all the various guilds like, look, you guys, this disparity that you all have, and it's so blatant, you all need to do something about it. And so the DGA was like, well, okay, we'll do something. So they did like this little cupcake icing type of thing where they picked me and a couple of other emerging directors to shadow like Harold Ramis, the Ghostbuster director. But
Mm-hmm.
it was just icing. It wasn't nothing with
Substantial.
feeling, yeah, nothing substantial. And it was just really to keep those Black creatives quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, that was in the late 90s and it's still going on today.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember a good friend of mine, um, they were shooting Chirac at her mom's house. And it was the first day Spike Lee came on set. And the first thing he said, this is hearsay from what my friend said,
Mm-hmm.
but the first thing he said, he was like, "Can we cuss on here, by the way?"
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
He was like, "Where the fuck are all the Black people at?" Because he came on set and, this is a union project. I don't know if it was Hulu or Amazon that was the studio.
Yeah, I think it was
Yeah.
Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah. And the first thing he said was like, "Where the fuck are all the Black people at?" Because they don't have that diversity opportunity here like other states do. And so it's just really sad that even in 2023, like Chicago being like, that is evolving into like to this mecca of shooting projects here, especially with tax opportunities and stuff, that the lack of Black people, I'm talking about Black people, I'm not speaking about brown people, or I'm talking about Black people being in key positions, being PAs, and like you say, other crew people, that's not prevalent. And the unfortunate thing is that these projects are studio projects, so they're union projects. So you have to be in the union to even work on it, but you can't even get into the union if nobody don't grandfather you in. And it's just so that is my pet peeve. It has always been my pet peeve with the productions, the mainstream studio productions. And I don't even think Hollywood is even aware of it. I don't know.
Wow. Yeah, I think you bring up a great point. I am aware. Definitely I'm aware, but I agree with you. I would feel like on a large scale, it's not a priority, or it hasn't been a priority. And you're absolutely right. I mean, we may need to organize ourselves in such a way for that movement, because I was always very intimidated about the idea of joining the union. I never knew how I was supposed to join the union, how I could get in the union. Um, I guess I never worked for a corporate studio before either, so I wasn't even in the realm of like working on a union project. But like, documentary, we just a little bit different. We don't have to, we don't have to go that route. But there are documentary filmmakers in these unions too. Right. But yeah, I definitely agree with you. In Chicago, I feel like here in LA for sure. I mean, LA might have a little bit more diversity. I don't want to, just totally speculate, but I still see white men predominantly in the roles. I still see white men predominantly on the street, because here in LA you're going to see actual shooting on the street everywhere. You could turn down any neighborhood and see the trailers, and somebody's filming. But the crew that you see is white. I would even go so far, because like I was telling you, I'm in distribution, post-production, management, distribution. There's no Black people. There's probably scattered throughout, maybe more in the independent world than the studio world, but there's not a lot of Black people in distribution or sales or marketing. There's not even a lot of Black people like running companies. It's like news when Black people start a studio, or some famous actor has enough money to like produce films now. Exactly. So yeah, it is a big blind side. And I would argue what they kind of did for the Me Too movement, where they did a lot of research, they came out with a lot of reports. They didn't just say, oh, there's sexual assault happening in the industry. They also said, hey, there's not enough women hired at all of these levels. Some studios made an effort to hire more women. I feel like we need a similar commission for Black production, not just the actors, but like editors is a big thing. There's not enough Black editors. Even though there's a lot of Black editors, they're not working on studio projects. They're not getting those corporate gigs like that,
And I think what what's her name? Ava DuVernay, what
Yeah.
she was trying to do with her organization. What is it? Is it
The Array
affirming?
Crew.
The Array Crew, yeah.
Yeah, because I'm on that too. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not like, you need like a movement like the Me Too.
Yeah.
Uh, but then like a lot of black folks that are in positions, they not really wanting to jump on that because then it may be messing with their livelihood, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and they trying to, get the next gig, the next opportunity. So
Stay under the radar. Man, it's a double-edged sword. I mean, I definitely advocate for Black people anytime if there's anybody who's doing something, even if they're not even in documentary, I'm like, hey, have you heard about this person? They
hmm
make movies. Yeah,
yeah, yeah. So
Right. We try our best.
and so hence is the independent world. So
Yes. Well, perfect segue. So let's get into it. Given those real barriers for Black people in the production industry, just getting basic jobs, being able to be on crew, on set, being in corporate or being in the production management, side of things. How did you get your career started? And, how did you kind of overcome some of those things?
well, um, I, I I never allow the lack of money to dictate who I am. I know I am a filmmaker. I know I'm a writer. I know I'm a director, editor. And so sort of kind of just taking that mantra of Nike, just do it. That's exactly what I did because I already knew who I was. And if I had a Fisher Price camcorder, I can still make a movie. This is before cell phones were
Yeah.
as advanced as they are to make movies on it. But
Mhm.
I just knew who I was, and I didn't want to allow the lack of anything to dictate otherwise. And so I just did it, and that sort of kind of has been my flow. I just be in my zone and I just do. Like when you
Mhm.
mentioned about, that was interesting when you said, "Oh yeah, you make these merch," and I didn't start off thinking about making merch and that people would buy it. I just wanted to look fly when I was on set. And so, and I am a huge I love to pay homage to black culture and black creativity. And I just started making stuff and then posting like, "Hey, look what I made," or "Look what I like." And I was surprised that people were like, "Oh, can I buy that?" Like, "Really? You want to buy this? Okay, cool." And I was surprised that people liked it too, because like I say, I just came from the perspective of, I don't really like a lot of clothes, and I'm sort of kind of eclectic in how my style of dress is. And so when I didn't see it, I was like, okay, I'm going to make it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I am a huge fan of Good Times. So I drew this
Yes.
image of Good Times, and I made a hoodie out of it. And now I'm also a pen collector too. I love to collect pens, and I never saw a pen of Good Times, so I said, okay, I'm gonna draw this out and get some pins and patches made and share. Hey, look what I made. So that's how it all evolved for me. But it has been an opportunity to help me with my projects, my independent projects, um, and so. I mean, of course, yeah, I did the traditional thing that everybody do when they're trying to fund their projects. They big people,
Mhm. Uh-huh. Mhm.
like fundraisers and all that stuff. So yeah, I'm still out here doing grinding, hustling, making moves for self. So
You've been selling some form of
you're
a
freezing up
minute.
a
I
little
don't
bit.
know
Okay,
here
yeah,
over
I don't know
the
if it's my internet. Hold
airplane.
on one second. Can you
Hmm.
hear me?
Yeah, I see you
Okay, I see you. You had froze up a little bit. Can you repeat
there.
that? Freeze again. Oh God, this darn technology. You're frozen. Is it- I have no idea why she's frozen.
One second. Okay, can
Oh,
you
there
see
you
me
are.
now?
Yes. Yeah.
I was like, hold on, let me refresh. Maybe it got froze.
Okay.
Okay. But I was saying, yeah, you've been making merch for a minute. And so I always wondered, did that help basically fund projects and, or how does that contribute to the projects that you're working on?
Well, yeah. I mean, when you're self-financing, you try to find money whichever way you can. And then like when you don't have money to pay for advertising costs on like social media platforms, you have to be careful how you word it, so that it will continue to show in the algorithms of people's news feed, because Facebook be wanting, and Instagram, they be wanting you to pay for ads, but I don't have no ad dollars. I'm trying to get dollars.
Right.
So you can't like basically say you're selling something. My thing is, if people are interested, they'll buy it. They'll reach out to you. So I don't really like have like a formula or saying like, hey, specifically buy this. I just show it, and then people buy it, and then I use it for whatever needs that I have. And so that's how I do it. So if you notice, I never really said, hey, I'm having a fundraising event, because if I say stuff like that, those platforms will, like I say, filter it and not even let it show up in people's feed.
Wow. No, you're so right. I never thought about that. That's really insightful. Definitely. And it's right. I never felt like you ever pushed anything for sale. I feel like, which is why I also think of like great marketing, because you kind of make it so that it's just like, I've got this exclusive thing and you can only get it from me. So
right. Exactly. So yeah. So that's sort of kind of like what I do. But anyone who knows that is looking at it, because I've made it my life's stamp that I am a filmmaker. And I'm always talking about movies. I'm always talking about making movies. So
that's what I love about it too. It's so movie themed, and I think it's just so awesome to have. Like, I just never thought about it, and I'm like, wow, she's so creative to think like, oh, what about these like your movie camera pin, or like you said, the cast of Good Times, like that's just so brilliant.
Yeah. Or like I'll say something like, man, this like, let's say, okay, let me give you an example. So at one time I wanted to produce a play, or revive a play I had did like maybe 15 years ago or 20 years ago. It's been a while. So I was thinking about advertising it, making a whole bunch of designs of black family TV shows, because my particular play was called My Black Family from the 70s, and it was like a spoof of Good Times. And so what I was going to do is I was going to, like, hey, this design or this t-shirt I made reminds me of the play I wrote called, My Black Family from the 70s. And so then I get people, talking about it and being engaged about it. And then it gives me an opportunity to talk about my play, without having to, like I say, pay like advertising dollars or anything like that. So, I mean, excuse me. I think that what also draws people, because what comes from the heart reaches the heart. So if people feel that you're being authentic and are, it organically will evolve into money for what you're trying to do. So
do you feel like you have some steady supporters now?
I will say I have a lot of repeat customers. The thing is, it's like, if it's interesting to people, they will buy it. If it brings value to them, they will buy it. You don't have to push so hard. So
yeah. Definitely. I went to the Academy Awards Museum,
Mm-hmm.
and in their gift shop, which is, I don't know, you might want to look into that in the future, but their gift shop is just, everything is movie themed, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so I found some tarot cards
Oh, okay.
that were like movies, you know,
Yes.
like each card was like a movie, like the Queen of Hearts or something is like, you know, Uma Thurman from Kill Bill or something, you know, it's
Yes.
like really cool. So
That
I
is so
love,
dope.
yeah, so I feel like there's definitely, people love movies. Movies are universal. They're humanitarian, you know, people relate to their favorite film, TV show, you know, and that's why it's so awesome to see your merchandise, because usually we're not reflected in those things. I mean, the
Yes.
Academy Awards Museum might be a little bit more broad than, let's say, average, but it's still very white centered, you know. It's because that's who they're buying their merch from, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like a never ending cycle.
Well, when
So
I move to Atlanta in 2026, I'm going to open up a cafe. It's going to be called Black Cinema Cafe. And it's gonna be a place, it's gonna be like a coffee shop, like creative workspace, and it's just gonna have Black
Hash
theme.
Cinema House.
Yes, it's gonna
Yeah.
be dope. So yeah, in 2026, that's when
Oh
I'm
my
gonna.
God, well, I'm ready. Yes, we
Yeah.
come in, you know, I program, I'm ready to show
Yes.
movies, you know.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes. 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 So.
that's
Yeah.
what's up. And you know, I remember you also mentioned you had kids, and I remember one of your son, I think he designed something too. So I just wanted to ask you, you know, how you involve your kids, and you know, what's kind of been the relationship with them in film.
Well, neither of my children are interested in the TV film industry. Um, However, my son, he is very creative. He makes a lot of abstract art. And as a matter of fact, I was up with him late last night making he's the type of designer that is extremely meticulous, and he likes to take his time in figuring things out. And so I was up late last night with him. He had designed this hoodie, and he wanted to he had created the mock-ups because I had showed him how to use Photoshop. He had created the mock-ups there. And so he was ready to put like some layered vinyl on it, on the hoodie. And so something didn't go right. And he was like, okay, we need to go back to the drawing board because I do not like the way this printed. So he reminds me of a young Virgil to me.
Yes, nice.
And I can totally see him going into just creating his own brand. His company is called Crowned Truth. It used to be called King Tatum, but then he was like, "Mommy, that's too juvenile. I'm going to call my company Crown Truth." And so, but he told me, he said, "Mommy, I don't think I want to do anything. I gotta have like a fallback career," because he said, "I see you struggle though," and then it is because I don't keep it hidden from my kids what it's like to be an entrepreneur and a full-time artist. But he said, "I'm gonna, have a more." Uh, he wants to have a more solid career that he knows that he's going to get money, so he wants to go into business, finance, and law. But he said that I'm going to do my brand on the side. I'm gonna get the money here and then do this. But
I mean, once you get to a certain level, and maybe you know this too, like you need a lawyer and a
yeah,
business. Like that's a part of being an artist too.
yeah,
You actually do need a lawyer and a business manager. So if you are a
yeah,
creative person and you learn that, oh, you
yeah.
got it. That's it.
So that is his thing, and I like how he, he has intentions, and I mean he's always been like that. Even when he was in fourth grade, he was like, "Mommy, what's the top Catholic school in Chicago?" I said, "It's St. Ignatius." He said, "Well, I'm going there, and you're not gonna have to pay a dime." I was like, "Oh, okay," because tuition is $22,000 a year there,
Wow.
and I don't pay anything, and
Yeah.
he does what he's supposed to do. And then my daughter, she's such a
Yeah.
bomb. She's just amazing. She's gone on a 4-day leadership retreat for her school. She's such a leader, and she wants to go into civil rights and social activism. So She's a junior, and she goes to another great Catholic school, and I barely pay anything there either because her grades are just so like
All
good.
right.
So they make me proud.
Yes, definitely. And I just love that. My dad was a filmmaker, so
Oh, okay.
I feel that affinity. I was obviously very much influenced by that.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, I didn't know that. When I was a kid, I was like, I'm not gonna be like I was like same thing. My dad was independent. I don't remember it being a struggle, but I just remember, obviously we were working people. Every paycheck was going to paying the bills and making a movie, sort of thing. So
Yes.
it wasn't but I remember that, and so when I was in, I went to private high school also, and I was like, which I thought would be practical. I was like, I'm going to be an anthropologist because that's more practical than being a filmmaker. Little did I know that was not practical either. And I literally, basically, I fell back into filmmaking when I got to college and started taking anthropology. And I was like, this isn't a job. This is like a way of thinking, but it's not like a job. I need a skill so I can have a job. And I went back to photography and filmmaking because I was like, I need a job. And I don't know what parents tell kids, but my parents were creatives. They were both artists. So they were like, sure, of course. Camera's a great skill to have.
Yes.
They should have probably told me to like focus on writing or something. I don't know, but they were like, yeah, of course, become a camera person. Yeah.
I love it. Honestly, I really think like my daughter would make an exceptional producer because she is so like forward thinking, analytical, organized, negotiating. And I'm like, man, I wish she was an adult because she could be my producer. So,
yes, right.
But she has no interest in that whatsoever.
So. Well, things may change. That's all I will say. Things may change because I literally got to college and I was like, wait a minute. I know how to make movies. I should be making movies. What am I doing?
Yes. Oh yeah, congratulations too. Didn't you just recently get an Academy Award recognition?
Yes, we got yes.
That is such an honor. Congrats.
Thank you. It's been a journey, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's been a journey.
Yes. Congrats. That is amazing.
Well, thank you so much for being here. I've been waiting for an opportunity to talk to you for years. Like, I love your work. Yes, I love the independent. Like I said, I love independent, lesbian, horror, dark comedy. I love all of that. All of that. Give it to me.
Yeah.
And so I really wish you the best in everything. I'm just so excited to have an opportunity to talk to you.
Yes.
How can people follow you, support you, maybe buy some more merch? Where can they see your movies? Like, how do they support you?
Well, right now I'm doing some restructuring with my websites. So, but my handle is my name, Coquie Hughes, on all the various platforms, even with my website, coquiehughes.com. So, and at Coquie Hughes, wherever. So, I mean, they can find me somewhere, just using my regular handle. I am, like I say, redoing because I own so many domains, like so many.
I know, right? You gotta like consolidate at some point, right?
Yes, I have so many domains that I own. So yeah. But so the main
what's the main one?
The main one is just Coquie Hughes. But like I say, it is currently static because I'm just rebranding, and so people hit me up all the time because my stuff used to be on YouTube, but then when YouTube rebranded, a lot of content that they felt was a bit too provocative, like a lot of my stuff, they flagged it. And so yeah. So I had put it all on my website because they kept muting my stuff saying that I didn't have music permission. I'm like, yes, I do. And then they were like, well, you got permission from their artist, but you didn't get permission from the person that made the beat. I'm like, what? How am I supposed to know that? It's ridiculous. So I had put all of my content on my website because people still to this day, like, where can I watch your films? Some of my films are on YouTube, but a lot of it is not. So if people just hit me up, You know, I just be like, okay, hey, make a donation to my latest film, and I'll send you the Google Drive link, and you can just download them. So that's what I do.
That's okay. Hey, that's what's up. That's a good way. And I follow you on Facebook. So if you're on Facebook, you know, that's the best place to see the latest merch.
Yeah. Because people would be like I had this one person like, hey, are you gonna put all your stuff up online, like so that people can just directly go to it? Yeah. The only thing is because it is so hard to find the licensing, like who owns the licensing. So and then when you finally do find them, you don't know if you're dealing with someone legitimate, and then they try to shuck and jive you and charge you like an astronomical fee. So that's the reason why I don't necessarily put my merch up, because I don't have the official licensing.
I was wondering about that too. And you know, but also because it's guerrilla filmmaking. So I feel you because gotta do what we gotta do out here. So you know, just keep it low key, you know what I'm saying? But also I do think you're doing, it's kind of like how Dapper Dan started though. You know, I think you're doing a service. So even though you're talking about the licensing and all that, which is valid, you know, for those people, and they, you know, they want to get their coins too. But there's something about the Black corporal image, and we're not included in that.
No, we're not.
In that canon. So for us to have a t-shirt with, you know, Whitney Houston, maybe not Whitney Houston, but you know, Diana Ross or something, you know, you have so many shirts, you know. I love it because those are images of Black people, Black stars that we love, that are not available in the mainstream world. I can't just go buy a Good Time shirt, even though we all know Good Times was a hit. It's not easy to find those Black iconography, like iconic images. And so I really appreciate, I feel like you're doing a service by preserving our image, by making our image, you know, accessible, by making it appealing, attractive, by making it something that we're proud to put on ourselves. And I appreciate that.
Yeah. And I'd be honored that, you know, I'm going to be honest with you. I was really surprised that so many people liked what I liked. So it's obviously, you know, a market for it. And it would be cool, you know, if some of these, I guess, powers that would get behind Black creatives like Target, instead of just giving us a little section on Black History Month, but get behind creatives like ourselves to like, okay, what can I do to help you get the licensing? You know, so that if you wanted to do a celebration or honor to Black films of the 70s or Black TV shows, like what can I do to do that? Because instead of, you know, what they do offer, but that's neither here nor
there. Well, one, they either lowball you or they just say you can't do it, and that's what we're trying to say. We need to push that door.
Yeah. So cool.
All right, girl. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been so great to have you. I am just so thankful for the opportunity to chat with you. I've learned so much. You're so encouraging, and
thank you.
Real.
Likewise. Thank you. Thanks. All right. So that's it. That's all.
Yeah, you stay on for me. But thanks for everybody else. See you next time.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.